Hello, it's Dino here, and you know, steel cable. Steel cable is a derivative of chain link, and of course, since the invention of chain link, it has been used for many industrial and agricultural applications. But unfortunately, chain link is known to manifest weaknesses, hence the popular phrase in our society, the weakest link. Now, steel cable, as its derivative, changes all of that. You see, it appears that steel wiring braided to make a rope is much more durable and much more dependable than the chain link. Since the invention of the steel cable, it has also been chosen as the primary medium of transportation for things like ski lifts and gondolas. And more than that, in our backyard today, one awesome zipline that we've installed this past weekend. Now, in order to actually have a zipline, you only need 4 things. And actually, I guess I'm already on point 1, and that's because we've belabored it. You have to have a steel cable. We've got that. Number 2 is that you have to have a pulley mounted to handles. And that is what we have right here. So as you see, we've got 2 pulleys mounted to a very stable steel handle device. The third thing that you have to have is an inclined plane. So you need that cable mounted on an inclined plane. If you look down this way, you'll see that we have about 130 feet of inclined plane here. You see this cable runs all the way over or between the trampoline and the 2 small trees to the left, completely through over the fence into a tree on the other side of a dry creek bed. Now, we're not going to go that far. My intention is for the boys to be able to take a ride that will maximize the yard within the confines of the fence. So we'll see how that's going to work. And then the fourth and final thing that you have to have is, of course, gravity. And you know, it's almost like that's a law, so that's not really a problem. Now, let me show you a few cool things about the way we built this. All right, so if you're going to have a zip line on an inclined plane, then you've got to have a platform where you can start at a higher level. So what we've used here is a deer stand. It's got a nice little ladder walking up. It mounts to the tree. The zip line itself is connected at about 12 feet off the ground. And of course, the neat part is it's here in the backyard. And honestly, since it's a deer stand, it's got camo on it and it's painted dark, and so it just blends in. That's pretty cool. Now, this next thing that I'm going to show you here is something that I owe 100% to my good friend Rod Wunsch, who is a West Texas transplant who has been living large in LA for a number of years. And when Rodney saw on Facebook that I was going to do this zip line, he said, "Kent, you got to have a rope break for the kids to survive." And of course, I hadn't actually thought about stopping the kids or survival so much. But Rod, I went online and I found a video of a guy that was trying to sell me a cable break for about 50 bucks. And then I realized that I could make that cable break for about $45 less. What I did, and it's going to be hard to see, but I took a 4x4 block there. I drilled a hole through that 4x4 block so that it would run along that cable, and then I attached an eye hook to it. And as you see, I've got bungee cord that I've tied together, about 3 or 4 bungee cords that I've tied together, and it also hooks right here on this tree. And so what happens is that when the pulley comes down and hits this block, it travels with it, and of course the bungee cord expands to about 175% of its original length, which that's about 11 feet, so it goes to about, oh, I don't know, 19 feet or so, 19, 20 feet, and that's enough to stop the kids right here in the corner just before slamming into the fence. Now, should the cable break fail, then, well, the kids are going to slam into the fence. But you see, it's a small fence, and so it'll probably just sort of drag them over it, and then they'll be able to continue to move freely at a high rate of speed all the way across and slam into that tree. They'll probably fall off and fall on those rocks down in the dry creek bed. Now, none of those things really sound like great selling points, so I'm not going to tell the boys about that because I think it'll probably decrease their level of fun with the zip line. So let's just keep that between us. Now, we're going to ride this thing. I'm going to let you see what it's like. Hey, I'm sitting here with Logan, my oldest son. He's 11 years old. Logan, say hello.
Hey.
And Logan's going to be my first test monkey on this zip line. Logan, does that concern you at all?
Not really.
Not too much. This might concern you a little bit. I want to read something to you in the directions here that I sort of overlooked. It says right here, it says, lay out a safe cable ride by not allowing the rider to encounter more than a 4-foot drop to the ground if the rider were to drop from the trolley during any part of the cable ride. How high is this thing? We look at 12 feet up there.
Yeah, 12 feet.
How tall are you?
I
4 foot something?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we kind of blew that deal. So here's what I'm asking you to do. If you're going to fall off this thing, then don't fall early on. Wait till you get about halfway, then that'll be about right, okay?
Okay.
All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have Logan stand up here in a minute, and he's going to get this cable, and we're going to do something that we call the forehead cam. We're going to steady this cam on his head so that you can ride down with him to check that out. Are you nervous about that?
As long as I don't drop the camera, I'll be fine.
That's okay. It's not that big of a deal. If you drop the camera, we'll get another camera. But don't drop off yourself, okay?
Okay. Ow.
Sorry. Yeah. Now, I know it's kind of hard for you to see, but you know where you're going, right?
Follow the cable.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. Okay guys, here we go, down the zip line.
Yes! It did. Okay, Logan made a successful ride down. Now it's Luke's turn. He's going to give it a shot. We're going to film him going over top. All right, Luke, take off, buddy. It is sweet.